Hey investors, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank y'all so much for coming back. I do appreciate it. As always, beware of scammers and fake pages. I am not on TikTok. I am not on Facebook. I am on Instagram and I do have a blue check mark. So you can follow me over there. But thank you guys so much for being here. Subscribe, like, share, and hype the video. Okay, guys? So today I'm going to be giving a mid-year investment portfolio update. I used to do these every month. I decided to do these once or twice a year. One of the biggest reasons is because those videos don't really do well, I notice. The videos that do perform well is when I'm actually investing and building up the shares in specific positions. And I realize people want to see more of the journey versus like a check-in every month. That's what the analytics are telling me. And I really understand now that people need the consistency and the motivation aspect of it, okay? So that they can get to their goals as well. So I have a really good video today. Again, do not blindly follow me. I say it all the time, and I know some of you are going to do it. So your sister is saying it again. Please do not blindly follow me. Another point, this is 12 years. This is not overnight. This is not 5 years. This is not even a decade anymore. This is 12 years, a dozen years, okay? A lot of mistakes, a lot of setbacks. I've tried to trade in the past. I have not done options. I really don't understand it. I've tried to short the market years ago, didn't know what I was doing, lost money, and I realized I need to stay in my lane. I need to buy and hold good companies and good funds that my husband and I believe in and keep it moving. I don't need to follow after everyone else. If they can make money trading or doing options or different things, God bless them, good for them. But to stay in my own lane and to recognize that slow and steady also is an important piece of this, and it also works. Okay, I am proof of it. All right, so I'm here in one of my many spreadsheets, and remember guys, this is not net worth. Okay, so in today's video you're only going to see like our investments, and that's like our securities, and I'll even show you some info on our rental properties. You're not going to see kids. You're not going to see checking or savings or any cash. You're not going to see our main home. You're not going to see gold and silver metals. Literally, it's the stock market and 3 investment properties. That is what we're considering our investment portfolio, not our net worth, right? And the investment portfolio really gives us an idea of how much like assets we really truly have that we can access if needed. Okay, and one of the great things about tracking your progress, now I do have several types of spreadsheets on my website. Information is down below, so I do create these, but like we can see right here that our investments, just stocks and that's it, is about $10,000 away from 1 million, which I think is absolutely crazy. But again, this is after 12 years, okay? Insane. If you've been watching the market recently, I mean, come on, just highs after new highs after new highs. We break some record, it seems like every other week. And sure, the market is overvalued, but again, I'm not trying to do this based off of a return I can get after 2 months or a day. This is long-term investing over here for us. So I do have some things blocked out for privacy, so I'm asking you to respect that. But you're seeing a lot of information here, let's be honest, and it's more than most people share, probably more than what you would actually share if you were on YouTube. So thank you guys for your support and for your love. Okay, guys? So you can see that we have a couple of different types of accounts, and I'll get questions on this. So I have a Robinhood account. I use this a lot. I have Interactive Brokers. I have a solo 401k with Mommy Trader. I opened one up this year. I told you guys that in our investment goals. We have an old HSA and a new HSA. The old one is from an old job. I could roll it over to Fidelity, and I was talking to my husband about this, and we may do this, but I'm thinking of rolling the old one over. But nonetheless, old HSA. I have an old Roth IRA over at Vanguard, 401k, a Roth 401k, a bunch of Roth IRAs at Fidelity, have two Fidelity brokerages, one with the $100 monthly investing challenge that I'm currently doing, so watch my videos, and a $1 a day investing challenge, which I'm currently doing. Watch my videos, okay, guys? And then Coinbase. So again, if you total up all of that, you get $990,417. If I come over here, you can see a little graph. Move my face. I have this zoomed in so you guys can see it better, especially if you're on your phones. But I need to see a graph of this because, again, I want to make sure we can, my husband and I, when I say we can see how our portfolio is balanced, okay? So we know our 401k is going to take up the majority of this because, yeah, okay, that's where most people's investments are. If you're talking about like balances or totals, is in the 401k or like a pension or something along those lines. And we do not have a pension. God bless you if you have one, but we do not. Nor we in the military or anything like that. So literally outside of like Social Security, it's on us. So thank God, that he allowed us to do these types of things and helped us to be, better with managing money. Because let me tell you, I'm 41. I'll be 42 in September. It has not been pretty. I had to go through a lot of counseling, a lot of forgiveness, a lot of come to Jesus moments so that I could be better, not just with finances, but a lot of things across my life, being a mother and a wife and just a good person, a better person overall. Okay. So if I come down here, you can see like a snapshot because this is where I have like some of the goals at. So you can see in the Fidelity 401k, the short-term goal is 600k. You can see we're almost there. I'm not going to go through all this because you can see it, but I like to set short-term goals and then the percentages to the goals. And then over here, I like to note like right here, like what is the purpose of the specific account. So when you hear me saying long-term future and short-term future is early retirement. My husband and I would like to retire early, Lord willing. Let's say, I keep moving the number, but let's say 45. I feel like 45 is a nice, even, solid number. We cannot, or we do not want to access a 401k. We cannot access a 401k. So that's long-term future, and I have that here as retirement. If I come down the yellow right here, this is investments. This is for short-term future, or if we do retire early, this is the money we can actually live off of. This is known as like your bridge accounts. This is money that you don't have to worry about penalties and all this other type of stuff. Sure, you would have to pay taxes, but we have properties that offset our taxes, so we're not really worried about that. But again, just like having bridge account money. If I come over here, this would give you some insight into our investment properties. So you can see everything right here. Okay, so you can see that I have our properties by initials of the street that they're on. So that way it gives us some privacy, but gives you context. Okay, again, this is not our main home. This is investments properties. This is money. This is properties we get income from every month. So no, we do not have all of our money in the stock market. If we had all of our money in the stock market, we would probably have close to 2 million invested. But my husband and I do not want our money, all of it, in the stock market. My husband is a big fan of real estate. So you can see the amount we've paid for each property right here. So total about $340,000 over the years for these 3 investment properties, which is not bad at all. If you see the current value, you can see that they are valued about at $615,000, and that's really being lenient. Property P, which is in South Carolina, is probably over 100,000, but I'm being very generous in terms of that because this property is about 40 minutes outside of Charleston, South Carolina. And if you've been watching the news, South Carolina as a whole has been bustling with people moving there. Okay, so I'm actually think I'm being very lenient on this, but this is an old family property that we bought. We get to keep it in the family and we get to actually use it to make income. So yeah. And then you can see the mortgage debt. We paid for property P in cash. That $31,000 was in cash. So we have no mortgage. So shout out to that. And then you can see the mortgage debt that we have on the other remaining 2. And you can see our current equity, which is crazy. Now, yeah, equity doesn't do anything, but if we needed to tap into this equity to buy another house, rental house, which we are thinking of doing, we have that extra equity, and that's what the bank is looking at. So we are really good borrowers in their eyes, according to the bank. And we easily get over $6,000 in rent. So, and that's monthly though, from all the places. So not complaining about that at all. Yeah, not complaining about that at all. So that is all of that. Let me show you guys this right here. So this is our taxable accounts, and this is just 2. This is Robinhood and Interactive Brokers. We have finished pretty much rebalancing these portfolios. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, probably towards the beginning of June. We were going to start rebalancing. The markets were at all-time highs and it was a great time. We like to do this between June and July. I think everybody should be rebalancing their portfolios. You want to make sure that it is allocated the way you want, okay? So like I said, this is for early retirement and this information was all on this page here, but this is just, again, Robinhood Interactive Brokers. So you can see we're at 51% in ETFs. This, again, is just for Robinhood and Interactive Brokers combined, which is what we wanted. We wanted at least 50%. So I'm so happy that we got to this goal. Now, again, tech is about 17.2%. I would like to keep that around 18% or less if possible. So I'm glad to see we are still under 18%. I would like to increase consumer staples. If I can get that between 8 and 10%, right now it's at 6.9. That's what I'm looking for. So that's why when you see me make videos and I'm just focusing on building up a share size in SCHD, that is going to help us get to our portfolio rebalance, because a lot of us have a lot of tech and a lot of AI, even through the funds like index funds and ETFs or individually, right? But there are a lot of other good funds and ETFs and stocks that are not focused on tech. And SCHD as a fund is a great option for that. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out there. So let me zoom in so you can see closer here. I'm gonna have to pause this. I'll be right back. All right, I zoomed in and I'm going to scroll down so you can see like what we have in these accounts. So Robinhood, we have a couple of funds in here. I do sell this particular spreadsheet on my website. So I have like the stock and fund, the ticker, the logo, the account, all that type of stuff, the current price, shares, all of that. So like I said, in Robinhood, I'm not going to go through all this because you can see it. I took Devo out of here, so you will not see Devo in here anymore. I like QYLD and I like SPYI. And those have been really solid for us. You can see Coke has been doing amazing. Coke is like one of those set it and forget it companies. You really don't need to even pay attention to Coke because it's such a great grand company. It pays a good dividend. I think it's a dividend king. So they've been paying out dividends for over 50 years consistently. So yeah, Costco was in here, Main Street, SCHD, SCHG, Realty Income. And a lot of these I'm not actively investing in anymore. You guys know my motto. Once I get to a share size goal, I pause and I move on. I don't like dabble in and out of it. I stop and I move on, unless it's like SCHD or something. But yeah, that's my general philosophy around that. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just showing you guys what we are doing. And then I have Interactive Brokers up here. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. Yeah, Broadcom, which has been doing crazy well. I have Dram. Dram is in Robinhood though. Yeah, it's rebalanced the way that we like. Also, I wanted to share this article because a lot of people, I mean, if you didn't know, I am a Christian and I do mention things about tithes and all of that from time to time. And I found a really great article to help you to understand more about money or finance and stewardship. I know not everybody is a believer, but I think it's really good to help you to get a proper perspective on finance and money and what the purpose behind it truly is for. Your money should be working for you. It should be working for you either by saving for you, so against a rainy day, by growing for you. You should be giving. This is Christian or not, I think everybody should give something. Nobody got to where they are by themselves. I know a lot of people say, oh, I pulled myself up by my own bootstraps. No, somebody somewhere poured into you and you should always be trying to pay it forward, okay? Plus, it really does feel good. But I'll leave this article down below. There's a lot of great scriptures here on finance and wealth and prosperity and giving and warning too. You don't want to idolize money. You don't want to focus on just gaining, and you're not doing nothing to, help others or even help yourself, right? There's no point in sitting on, let's say, $1 million and you need new clothes. That don't make any sense. Go get yourself some decent, well-made clothes if you need clothes. If you need a vacation, you sick, you stressed out, and you got all this money saved up and you haven't gone nowhere. Go to the beach for the weekend. It's not going to hurt you. That is what these scriptures I think are really great for. It helps you to kind of stay in the proper perspective because we don't have a lot of conversations about finance and, religious beliefs, but we really do need to, because they really are intertwined and they work together so well when you have the right approach and the right thinking. Okay. So let me know down below how you guys are doing, or if you have a favorite scripture about finance and money that you want to share, or let me know your investment goal for 2026. Okay, let me know down below. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, oh, if you want to join any of my investment groups, anything like that, information is always down below. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.